Hey, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, let me give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah HaKodash. All right, the name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, the name of the beloved Son, the Savior of the nation of Israel. His name is Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. All right, the anointed, that's the one who died on the cross for the nation of Israel. The nation of Israel consists of you so-called Negroes, you Latinos, you Native and you Seminole Indians, according to the bloodline of your father. That's the seed of your father going all the way back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. All right, and let me give double honors unto the apostles, the bishops, and the elders of Great Millstone, who continually rule well. They rule well. They continually push forth this truth for 100% truth, and they do that free of charge. All right, they are sounding the alarm on the RFID microchip being the mark of the beast, and those who take heed to that. Those who take heed to that is going to have a great advantage as far as putting up a defense towards resisting this technology when it drops, man. Okay, and those that scoff at it, we'll see. All right, let me give let me say shalom, salutations, mercy, and blessings to the sincere brothers that's out there that push this word with truth and with faith, following after that beautiful example left onto our elders and our apostles. All right, striving to be a part of the hopeful elect, man. Shalom unto you. My name is Thabo Amath of Great Millstone Northwest. I'm coming with part 2 of a video that I did. All right, I kind of ran out of time. It was a little lengthy anyway, but I kind of ran out of time. So I decided that I was going to just go ahead and divide this into 2 parts. All right. So I believe I titled the first one, which I did already upload. The first part was a chat with AI about the mark of the beast. All right. Well, this will be part 2 of that. And if you have not seen part 1, I do strongly advise you to go and watch part 1. I do apologize for it being lengthy. Okay. I do apologize for that, but go and watch part 1 so that way you can be up to speed with all the information, because I'm not going to recover all that information. I'm just going to jump in pretty much where we left off. All right. So if you find that this video is a little confusing, go watch part 1 and then you won't be confused any longer. All right. So I'll reread this final verdict that was left out of that last part that we read in part 1, and then we'll just jump all the way back in, moving forward with the material that we haven't covered yet. Okay. So again, this is a conversation that I had with chat. It's not Chat GPT. It's actually DeepSeek, which is a AI chatbot. All right, and our conversation was about the RFID microchip and about the mark of the beast. Okay, so final verdict, not yet, but possible precursor. While current RFID implants do not fully match the mark of the beast, they could be an early step towards a system that does. The key factor is whether such technology becomes mandatory and tied to a corrupt world power. Well, we already have the corrupt world power. Okay, the corrupt world power has been in power for centuries, man. Okay, the corrupt world power being underneath Esau, Edom. All right, Esau is the end of the world, but Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. It also tells us in Job, the 9th chapter, 24th verse, that the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. And we know that Esau, Edom is the wicked. Esau, Edom, by the way, are the people who call themselves Caucasians. All right, those Europeans that has gone throughout the entirety of the earth, causing nothing but havoc and chaos. All right, enslaving men, taking over lands that didn't belong unto them. Even to this very day, they are still disrupting societies, disturbing people who are at peace. Okay, that is the wicked. That is Esau, Edom. All right, they're still in power even to this very day. They make all the rules. All right, they make all the laws. They make all the rules. They tell the rest of the world how they have to act. And if the rest of the world doesn't get down with their program, they bring hell upon them. All right. It says something that hasn't happened yet, which the MOTB is future prophecy of. So of course it hasn't happened yet. And you got to remember when you're talking to these chatbots that they don't know. They don't really They don't really reason. They just have information that they can bring forth. Okay. So the next question that I asked it is, what is in existence that would be a better fit for the mark of the beast? Which again, if you go and read or go and watch part 1, we cover all of this right here. All right. Starting from the very first question, we covered a whole bunch of information. We grabbed a few scriptures and so on. All right. So if the argument is that the RFID microchip is not the mark of the beast, then what is in existence that would be a better fit for the mark of the beast? Okay. And this is what DeepSeek had to say. It says, if we're looking for existing technologies or systems that are more closely fit the biblical description of the mark of the beast in Revelation 13:16 through 18, several modern developments align more precisely than RFID implants, especially when considering control over commerce, universal enforcement, and allegiance to a central power. Okay, so let's pay attention to this section right here, because it's telling you that there's things that align more precisely than RFID microchips. Now, what this AI bot is not doing is linking all of these things together. All right. Now, the mark of the beast itself is that RFID microchip, which will be implanted into the people. However, there will be an entire beast system. Okay. There's the image of the beast. There's all of that ties into it. And this RFID chip is that's the physical part that you have to deal with. All right. But it's going to be linked with all these other things. And AI doesn't put that together. But we, in the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, we should be able to put these things together. You should be able to see how all these things will link together. All right. So let's continue. It says top contenders for a modern mark of the beast: digital ID and central bank digital currencies. All right. A digital ID can easily be tied into an RFID microchip. All right. You being able to access digital money through the RFID, which we already covered, that you can make payments using the RFID microchip. All right. We've already covered that there's companies that are allowing their employees to get these RFID microchips and be paid on those RFID microchips. We already went over that, okay, in part 1. All right. So it says digital ID and central bank digital currencies, CBDCs. It says why it fits better than RFID microchip, or I'm sorry, RFID. CBDCs are government-controlled digital currencies that could replace cash, allowing authorities to track and restrict transactions. Some countries, China, Nigeria, the EU, are already rolling them out. Revelations no one can buy or sell could be enforced by cutting off access to CBDCs for non-compliant citizens. All right, let's put a pin in that right there. Now it says that the no one can buy and sell could be enforced by cutting off access to the CBDCs. Well, those CBDCs, how do you think you would be able to access that in the first place if it's digital? All right. Well, you'll be able to access that through your RFID microchip. If in the part that we read earlier, okay, I'm not going to do a whole bunch of this backtracking either. All right. So that way we can actually move forward. In the part that we read earlier, under current uses for RFID microchips, under 3, it says convenience and payment. Some early adapters use them for contactless payments, example given with Bitcoin or transit passes. Bitcoin is already a digital currency, man. Okay. So with it mentioning the CBDCs could be cut off, well, that actually does line up still with the RFID microchip. It's still presenting a great argument of that RFID microchip being the mark of the beast. Okay. It says, unlike RFID, which is voluntary, CBDCs would become mandatory for all economic activity. Well, the scripture tell you that he causeth all, you know, to now we got to jump into the scripture one more time. Let's pull it back up. All right. Revelation chapter 13. All right. We looked at that grievous sore. We saw the information in Revelation 14 about those that receive this mark of what's going to happen unto them. But let's read this one more time. Revelation chapter 13, verse 16. It says, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hands and in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that hath the mark. Okay? No man might buy or sell. Let's read this in the NLT. All right. It says he required everyone, small and great, rich and poor, free and free and slave, to be given a mark on the right hand or on the forehead, that no one could buy or sell anything without that mark. Okay. Right now, you have in America, you have cash, you have debit, and you have credit, and you have digital currency. That's what you can use to be able to purchase things, okay? Or have things sold. That's what you can use. Cash, debit, credit, or digital currency, okay? Well, cash is being phased out. All right. Less and less people are dealing with in cash. All right. It's very uncommon for you to see someone make an entire purchase using cash, especially a big purchase or anything like that. Using cash, it's very uncommon, man. All right. You can see somebody bust out a 20 here, bust out a 20 there, bust out a $100 bill here or there. All right. But it's not as common as it is for people to just pull out their debit card or their credit card. Okay. So you can see how cash, and in fact, just a couple months ago, Trump, when he first got in office, he stopped, I believe they stopped minting, I want to say it was the penny, but don't quote me on that. They stopped minting something in the coins. They stopped minting those. All right. He had the Federal Reserve pull the plug on that. All right. It's lucky I haven't went over that story in a minute. You know what I'm saying? It was big news when it happened, but then it kind of phased out. There's been a lot more that happened since then, so it's not as fresh in my mind. But they already are making changes to where cash isn't going to be as prevalent. Okay. It says, and that no one could buy or sell anything without that mark, which was either the name of the beast or the number representing his name. So just as everyone had to use cash to be able to buy or sell, and now it's moving more to a digital system, meaning your debit card, your credit card, and even a digital currency. Okay, just as much as that happened, and you can't buy or sell without being able to use those avenues. Well, it's the same thing that they could do with that RFID microchip. If you don't have that RFID microchip, you won't be able to access any of the banking system. All right. You won't be able to access anything that either holds the digital currency, the number of whatever the digital currency is. All right. Or that can supply it. Okay. You won't be able to access any of that. That's what the RFID microchip is, an access point. Okay, it's going to be it's going to be how you as a person can access those funds rather than digging into your wallet to access your funds, or using a bank card that's linked to your bank account to access the funds that's supposed to be stored inside of that bank account. You will be using this RFID microchip as that credit card, as that debit card, as that cash. Okay, so on and so forth. All right. So let's come back to DeepSeek. I'm sorry. Let's come back to DeepSeek. Okay. It says spiritual parallel. If a future global financial system requires allegiance to a corrupt regime, all right, e.g., accepting an oath to use the system, it could mirror the beast's demand for worship. Now, you got to remember, these chatbots, they're programmed to think like how Esau thinks. They're not programmed necessarily to think on the spiritual understanding of someone who's been studying the truth for a number of years, all right, studying the Israelites for a number of years. They're not programmed to think in that spiritual aspect. They're programmed to think like individuals who go to the seminaries, all right, or individuals who attend church, and so on and so forth. Okay, the chatbot does not have the spiritual understanding of the scriptures, okay, and how it actually links into today. Although it is a great tool, it does help. As we see in this conversation, it does help prove the points that's needed. All right, because this whole conversation just further proves that RFID microchip fits best as that as the mark of the beast. Okay, and this is its argument against it. Which we've been debunking the entire time, that it's really no argument against it. Okay. So a future global financial system requires allegiance to a corrupt regime. Everything requires allegiance to a corrupt regime. Anything you get involved with the governments of the world, you're getting involved with or you're getting an allegiance to a corrupt regime. Okay, now it's trying to make it think like, oh, it's going to be hey, the American, if anybody doesn't realize that the American government is a corrupt regime, then you've been under a rock. You ain't really paying attention. All right, you're not being honest with yourself. Okay, regardless of who's in power, this country is not for the betterment and the good of all people here upon the earth. All right, but it's not just America. It's all these governments, man. All of them. That's why all of them are going to be cast down at the return of Yahweh Shai. Not a single government that's in place right now on the earth, not a single one is going to be able to stand when Yahweh Shai returns, man. Not a single one of them. All of them will be cast down. You understand that? Okay, it's not as if, oh, America gets destroyed and whatnot, but the people of New Zealand get to just keep living however the hell they see fit. Nah, that's not it. Okay, every government, every single rulership that's on the planet Earth is going to be cast down at the return of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. All right. At the establishment of the kingdom of heaven here upon the earth where the Israelites will rule, there will not be any other governments that's able to rule on their own. All right. No, the entire, that's when you'll have a one world government, and it's going to be underneath our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. All right. With the elect underneath him ruling over the planet. Okay. It says biometric surveillance and social credit systems. Example, China's social credit system uses facial recognition, digital IDs, and behavior tracking to reward slash punish citizens. Okay, which the MOTB is going to be able to do that too. The RFID microchip, when they implement it, it's going to be able to track you and to reward and punish you depending on how they see fit. Okay. We already have technologies that's coming in place to be with facial recognition. You should realize that Esau wants everything linked together. All right. Just as much as your refrigerator wants to link to the internet. All right. And your doorbell is linked to the internet, and your what have you, the speakers that play music is linked to the internet. All right. Your lights, you can have your lights linked to your cell phone through the internet, so on and so forth, or through Bluetooth, but even if you're not home, there's some people who have systems in their house to where they're not even home and they can turn the heater on, man. Okay. Through their cell phone. All right. So if everything can be linked together already like that, why would cameras that uses facial recognition not be linked to some type of a server or a system that can register your RFID microchip number and tell who you are? Okay, why would it not be able to do that? All right. It says could easily evolve into a marked system where compliance is tied to economic survival. And again, what the AI is not thinking of is all these little petri dishes that's been rolled out in various different places is going to come together as one, as a head in one. All right. You test a little bit over here, you test a little bit over there. All right, you don't just overload all one population, because if they rise up against that, you just lost your whole testing ground. Okay, so you test a little bit with this population, see how they react. You test a little bit with that population, see how they react. Okay, it says already restricted. It says already restricts travels, loans, and jobs for deserters. All right, and this is speaking of China's social credit system. These last three bullet points has all been towards China's social credit system. So what China's social credit system does is it uses facial recognition, digital IDs, and behavior tracking to reward and punish citizens. It could easily evolve into a marked system where compliance is tied to economic survival, and it already restricts travels, loans, and jobs for deserters. All right, and we can see that. We can see that happening with the MOTB too. You got to remember what happened with the C to the ID-19. Remember, they restricted travel based off of if you were or if you was not with the Maxi. Okay. They also you can see it where if you don't have this technology, if you don't have the MOTB, this RFID microchip inside of your hand, then I can see how they can deny you of a loan and say that you can't apply for this loan because they have no way of delivering the loan to you because you don't have RFID microchip for it to be sent to, okay, for it to be linked with. All right. Jobs, I can see how jobs can be denied due to not being able to provide you with a payment system, especially if majority of the companies and corporations and so on doesn't take cash. Imagine that. Imagine if they just do away with cash, where they don't deal with cash any longer. It becomes completely cashless, where cash is seen as a taboo or as a underground thing, man. All right. A black market type of thing. Anybody that's dealing with cash is up to no good. Imagine that. All right, because that's not far fetched. None of this is far fetched, man. Especially when dealing with Esau Edom. None of this is far fetched. All right. It says, linked to Revelation, if such systems expand globally, they could enforce loyalty to a centralized power, just like the beast's mark, which again goes towards our point, not necessarily goes against it. All right. Now, 3 says vaccine passports and health-based digital certificates. Now, I'm not giving any type of health information. All right. I am merely just reading what it was that AI gave me back based off of the questions that I asked it. All right. So it says, is why it's a strong candidate, talking about the vaccine passports and health-based digital certificates, which all can be linked to your RFID microchip, especially if there's one that's implanted into your body that has a unique number that's only towards you. You got to remember, all your information is already inside of some type of database, okay? When you go and log on to Google from your computer, that's not the things that may be stored on your Google Drive is not stored on your computer. It's stored on a drive. It's stored on in a what's those damn things called, data center, somewhere, abroad. It's stored there. It's not necessarily stored right there on your computer, to where you can go and log in on a computer at a local library and still be able to access all of that Google information if you needed to. Okay. So it's not as if that RFID microchip, and we did cover a little bit of that in part 1. It's not as if the RFID microchip itself has to be able to store a ton of information. It doesn't. It needs to be able to link a very specific identification number. That's all it necessarily needs. Okay. And then the rest of the system has to be able to read that number and then link that number to something else. Just like how you have a whole bunch of things linked to your name or linked to your social security number. Okay. You will be amazed at how much information is linked to your social security number. Everything from your education records. Okay. If you ever went to the military, that's linked in by your social security number. Your credit score is linked in by your social security number. Okay. When you go and purchase a vehicle or purchase a house, all of that is linked to your social security number, man. Okay, so just as your social security number can be linked to all these various different things, where your RFID, your radio frequency identification can be linked to all these things in that exact same manner. Only it's a different payment system, man. It's a different type of system. All right, that links it all together. Rather than you having to provide a social security card, you have to be able to present your RFID microchip. Be able to scan that or so on. All right. However, it is that they're actually going to roll this out and spin it. Okay. It says during the C to the vid, digital health pass, like the EU Green Pass. Okay, so in the EU they had something called the Green Pass. Okay. It says we're required for travel, work, and shopping in some places. So just like when that was going on, if you didn't have that Green Pass, you was unable to travel, you was unable to go to work, you was unable to go shopping. Just like here in America, if you didn't provide a mask on your face, or if you didn't provide paperwork that said that you received the juice, then there were some places that you was restricted to. You couldn't go to the movie theater, you couldn't travel, couldn't do this and do that. It says if a future pandemic or crisis led to mandatory health compliance for commerce, it could act as a prototype for the mark, which they already did that. All right, they already did that. It says, unlike RFID, a physical implant, these are digital, widely adopted, and already enforced in some sectors. Now, again, what this AI is not doing is, that physical implant in the digital and the physical implant are hand in hand. Those are one and the same. The way you access your digital is going to be through the physical implant. Okay, through that microchip. That microchip is going to have that number that is related to all things you. All right, it's going to be the one that's related to all things you. Just like if you can go and Google yourself and find out all information about yourself. Sometimes you can even find your current address, your present and current phone number. Okay, you can find all kind of information, your work history, all that on the internet just from Googling yourself. Well, this RFID and that's just by typing in your name, right? Well, this RFID microchip can be tied into your name. It's tied into you as an individual. All right. It's an individual number that's linked to you in all things you. And it can't be, replicated. Now, people are crafty and will find ways to hack and do so on, right? But it's going to be in a system that's not supposed to be able to be replicated to where others, can use theirs to access yours. Okay. Neuralink and brain computer interfaces, BCIs. All right. Emerging threat. Elon Musk's I don't know how you would say his name like that. Elon Musk's Neuralink aims to merge human brains with AI. If a future BCI, all right, brain computer interface, was required for economic participation or communication, it could fit the forehead or hand placement. All right, which we believe that Neuralink is going to be tied in. All right, we believe that all these things are setting the stage, setting the system for the RFID microchip. All right, it says more invasive than the RFID, making it a stronger candidate for enforced alliance. Cryptocurrencies with government control. Possible scenario. All right. Now you have the United States government talking about doing a central digital bank, so on and so forth. All right. Get into crypto, get into Bitcoin, so on and so forth. You have all of that coming out of the mouth of your current leaders. All right. It says possible scenario if Bitcoin or another crypto were hijacked by a global authority. It doesn't need to be hijacked by a global authority. All right. The global authority already controls everything it needs to control. Okay. It says, and tied to a digital ID, it could control who can buy or sell, because all of this is all already controlled by Esau, Edom. All right. There's been nothing that's been mentioned outside of what's been mentioned about Moab, about China. Okay. Everything else, yeah, that's Esau already has control over all that. It's not as if he's got to sneak in to get control of it. No, he's had control, and everyone knows that he has control over it. All right. It says, see some blockchain based economies as a potential tool for the Antichrist system, which that's hoopla. Hey, the point is that Esau already tells you what you can use as money and what you can't use as money. All right. Esau doesn't allow you to just do a barter system. Okay. Most people aren't on board with just having a barter system. Hey, I have eggs and you got tomatoes. All right. I need some of those tomatoes and you need some of these eggs. So let's trade what we would think of be a fair value between the two, and keep it moving. That's not the way this society works. All right. Just like with oil, it's all got to be translated into dollars, for anybody to see some type of value in it. It says why these fit better than RFID implants. All right. Feature and then RFID implants. So economic control is the feature, and it says RFID implants is limited. All right. It says the feature is enforcement, and it says RFID implants is voluntary. Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. I'm sorry. Let me not short us here. Okay. So let's come down. We'll go down here. So it says the feature that we're going to talk about first is economic control. It says RFID implants is limited. CBDCs and digital IT has full control over economic control. All right. Social credit is restrictive. Vaccine passports is partial, but could expand. And it says Neuralink is possible future. Okay. It says as far as enforcement, RFID implants is voluntary, and it will be voluntary. It will definitely be voluntary. You will be able to resist, okay? And the way it's worded here in Revelation the 13th chapter lets you know that you can resist it. Because in verse 17 it says that no man might buy or sell save he that hath the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name, meaning that the ones who don't get it, the punishment for them not getting it is that they will not be able to buy or sell. Okay, they will not be able to involve themselves in society as you would expect a normal citizen would be able to involve themselves. Okay. So voluntary, all right. CBDC says mandatory potential. Which, why does it say that the CBDCs and the digital IDs is mandatory potential? Because when they roll out the CBDCs, they don't care if the people agree with it or not. They'll tell you this is what it is, and people will just go along with it, man. Okay. If they say the dollar, we're no longer using the dollar is worthless, everything is going to be digital now, there's nothing that the people can do. It's not like the people can rise up and protest and resist it. It is going to be what it is. All right. So that's why it says mandatory potential. It says social credit. It's already mandatory in China. And just like how in China that's already mandatory, it could be already, it can be mandatory just like that everywhere else. Okay. It says vaccine passports was mandatory during the seat of the vid. Right. And then Neuralink could be forced. All right, which Neuralink, they should have put Neuralink as voluntary, just like they said the RFID was voluntary, realistically. Okay, as a global scale, the RFID, it says it's niche, which is speaking about current times. Right now, it's niche. Right now, it's not mandatory. As a global scale, it's niche. All right, there's certain people that want to get it, that are voluntarily going and getting it. Okay. CBDCs and digital IDs are expanding fast. All right, which again, how would you be able to access that digital currency for the common person to be able to go and purchase things using that digital currency? Well, the RFID microchip will be a great way of being able to do that. Right, using the near field communication or the radio frequency communication, man. All right, social credit is nationwide in China. Okay, which that could be worldwide very soon. The vaccine passport was global with CVID, and just like how the social credit was nationwide in China, well, it could be global, just like how things was with CVID with that passport, man. All right, there's plenty of things you could not do. You was restricted from being able to do there in the CVID, man. All right, and it says Neuralink is a future risk. Okay. And then it says spiritual loyalty aspect. All right. As the RFID microchip, it says weak. Why? Because it's looking at how things is right now. It's not it's not futurely projecting how things are moving, how the whole world is being twisted together. It's not looking at anything like that. All right. Possible if tied to idolatry. I'm sorry, ideology, Salakia, ideology. That's the CBDC and the digital ID. Social credit is strong. Obedience to the state. All right, as far as it being a spiritual loyalty aspect. Um, Vaccines was moderate if politicized. All right, and then Neuralink is extreme for AI worship, and that's only for the spiritual loyalty aspect. All right, which people aren't going to be thinking about the fact that they are being loyal to Esau Edom. That's part of his trickery, man. All right, he's not going to tell you when he's rolling out this chip. He's not going to be telling you, hey, you are signing your soul over to me as your supreme ruler. He's not going to tell people things like that, man. All right, he's just going to get the celebrities to come and make it look cool. All right, he's just going to advertise the convenience of it. All right, he never advertised the side effects. Okay, he always advertises what would be viewed as the positive for it. All right, what the hype about it would be. All right, how convenient it will be for you, how better it will be for you. He's not going to advertise the fact that it would destroy you. Okay, he won't advertise that. Okay, just like when he goes and he advertises his whatever, I mean, fill in the blank, man. Let's use let's use a candy bar as an example. He'll go and advertise a candy bar, okay? and show you the candy bar, and show kids having fun eating the candy bar and all of that, but he'll never tell you how dangerous it is towards your body. That will never be within the commercial, man. Okay, so that's the spiritual loyalty aspect that this AI provided is that as a whole, that whole category is subpar, man. All right, it says final thoughts. The mark is likely a system, not just a chip, which the chip is a part of the system, man. All right, how do you get tied into the system? Through the chip. You got to remember that the beast system has the three parts, man. All right, it has the mark, it has the image, okay, and it has the system itself. All right, it's the beast. You have the image of the beast, and then you also have the mark of the beast. Okay, it says let's come here. This is Revelation chapter 13, verse 11. It says, and I beheld and another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon, and he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. That first beast whose deadly wound was healed is speaking about the Roman Empire, man, which the Roman Empire has been revived underneath Esau Edom. All right, it says, and doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. All right, which that's been explained many times before, as far as when NATO and the EU had first caused rockets to fly from the sky in back in the 90s, okay, in the early 90s, 1990s, okay. It says, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by the sword and did live. And he had power to give life to the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So you have the you have the beast itself, you have the image of the beast, and then you have the mark of the beast. Okay, you have you have those three aspects that's coming together, and that's not what AI is tying together. All right, it's looking at it just as the RFID microchip. Now, if I would add in prompts to make it look at the bigger picture, I'm sure I can get it to realize the bigger picture. All right, but I just wanted to share what it was that I was having regarding the mark of the beast, that RFID microchip, as that's what realistically it is that you have to pay attention to. The rest of the beast and all of that, there's nothing you can do, all right, about the beast itself, about the image of the beast, so on and so forth. There's nothing you can do to to protect yourself as far as that aspect. That is going to be what it is, okay? That's your global aspect, man. That's the rulership aspect, so on and so forth. Now, when it comes to that mark, that's where it becomes a personal, individual thing, okay? Because as a man of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, it is going to be your responsibility to deny getting that mark of the beast. All right, there will be absolutely no way for you to redeem yourself if you receive the RFID microchip mark of the beast and pledge your loyalty to Esau Edom, which you are going to pledge your loyalty to Esau Edom by getting that RFID microchip implanted into your body. All right. This isn't going to be something where they're going to go and bust in and grab you and force you to get this thing. All right. They're not going to force you to get this thing. People are going to go and willingly get this thing. OK, because they're going to want to be able to fit into the society. OK, it says while RFID implants are a visible symbol, the real mark of the beast will likely be a global mandatory system that controls all buying and selling. CBDC's digital IDs, okay, requires allegiance to an authoritarian, Slovakia. You know these words, they jack me up. Authoritarian, you see the word, man. All right, power. All right, authoritarian power. Okay. I got that fat tongue, man. I'm slow of speech like Moses, man. All right, I'm going to keep saying that. It says social credit, AI-linked governance. All right, it says it's enforced universally, unlike today's voluntary RFID microchip, which the way they're going to enforce that universally is by they're going to tell people that yes, you have to get it. Okay, they're going to tell people yes, you have to get it. However, they're not going to force people. They're not going to tie you down and force you to get it. All right, it's just if you don't get it, you're going to be locked out. It's just like you have people that are homeless. That's kind of locked out of society. All right, they live in there. They live in a completely different world than the world that the person who wakes up and goes to work lives in, man. Okay, so it's just like they're not forcing people off the streets to where you have to go and get a house, you have to go and get a mortgage, you have to go and pay taxes. It's just you're locked out of a lot of stuff, man. You don't have the opportunity to do a whole bunch of things, you know. So it's that same type of thing that they're going to use with this RFID microchip, man. It says, would you resist? Well, that question doesn't matter because AI just wants you to keep interacting with it. This is what I asked it next. I said, can all systems you mentioned above be linked to a RFID microchip? Okay. This is its answer. It says yes. All the systems I mentioned, CBDCs, social credit, vaccine passports, Neuralink, and crypto control, could eventually be linked to an RFID microchip. But the critical question is, would they need to be? For each system could integrate how each system could integrate with RFID implants. CBDCs, central bank digital currencies, plus RFID. Current reality, most CBDCs transactions today use smartphones or digital wallets, which that doesn't that wouldn't necessarily change. Your digital wallet will be linked to your RFID microchip, man. Your smartphone, the information in your smartphone right now, my smartphone, there's certain bills that I pay using my smartphone or my computer. Okay? And it has the capability to store my debit card or credit card within it. Now I don't store my card in my phone, all right, because I don't think that's very wise. So I don't do that. I don't think my computer has it stored any of that information stored in either. I think I type it in each and every time. However, it has the capability to store that information in it. There's apps that you can store your information in it, and then you won't have to carry around your debit card or your credit card, and it can use the tap to pay to pay for your stuff. Hey, people that got iPhones, you know about Apple Pay, all right, so on and so forth, man. So the for digital currencies or digital money, even physical money, I guess, that's within your banking system. For all of that to be digitally used, that's not a problem. All right. It says RFID integration. All right. It says government could mandate RFID implants as a secure payment method, replacing cards and phones. All right. A government could mandate RFID implants as a secure payment method, replacing cards and phones. All right. Examples: if cash is abolished, an implanted chip could be the only way to access your digital currency. Okay. You see that? It says risk. This would make refusal of the chip economically disabling. Matching revelations, no buy or sell warning. You see that? It says this could make refusal of the chip economically disabling. All right. So if you don't get that chip, you're going to be, pretty much you're disabled from the economy. You're not going to be able to go and interact with the economy, man. All right. That's going to be the big threat that they have over people to force people to go and get this chip, man. All right. To persuade people, realistically, to persuade people. Let me see something. Let's look here in Revelation 13. All right. Where it says that he causeth all. Let's look at this word cause. All right. Let's look at the word cause. All right. Paeo. Poieo. Poieo. All right. Strong's G 4160 poieo. To make with the names of things made, to produce, construct, form, fashion, to be the authors of, to cause, to make ready, to prepare, to produce, bear, shoot, to acquire, to provide a thing for oneself, to make a thing out of something, to make, render one anything, to make, constitute, or appoint one anything, to appoint or ordain, cause that, to make, declare one anything, to put one forth, to lead him, to make one do something, to cause one to, right? To be the authors of a thing, cause to bring about, to do, to act rightly, do well, to carry out, execute, to do a thing unto one, to do to one, uh, with designation of time, to pass, spend, to celebrate, keep, to make ready, and so that all the same time of institute, to institute, to make ready, and so at the same time to institute, all right, the celebration of the Passover. I don't know how that got in there. To perform, to promise. All right, you see, none of this was actually like a force. It didn't say force in there, not one time. Okay, it says it's apparently a prolonged form of an obsolete primary, to make or do, in a very wide application, more or less direct. All right, abide, agree, appoint, avenge, band together, be, bear, beret, bring forth, cast out, cause, commit, content, continue, deal without any delay, execute, exercise, fulfill, gain, give, have, hold, journeying, keep, lay wait, lighten the ship, make X mean. Um, None of these things move me. Observe, ordain, perform, provide, have, purge, pursuit, put, rising up, secure, show, X, shoot out, spin, take, tarry, transgress the law, work, yield, all right, so on and so forth. So none of that is to force, all right? And you have these individuals who think that it's going to be something that is forced on people. He's not going to force you. When it says he causeth all to get it, he makes all to get it. He's going to make the society to where everyone's going to want it. Just like in society, everyone has a cell phone. Everyone has a cell phone. Children have cell phones. All right, smartphones even. All right, little kids. You know, small children and toddlers have tablets. Okay. He causeth all. Just the way the world has moved, everyone is accustomed to having some type of a cell phone or interacting with technology some way. Okay. Now, did he force everybody to do it in a roundabout way? Yes, he did force everybody to do it because he's made it where it's so wide scale that it's everywhere, man. You know, it's almost an impossibility to not have to deal with any type of technology, man. All right, those Amish communities are small in comparison to the population. All right, individuals that don't deal with any type of technology is a extreme minority. Okay, compared to individuals that do deal with technology on a daily basis. All right. So when it says that he causeth all to receive this mark in their right hands and their foreheads, that's not something, it's not saying that he's forcing people to get it. He's just going to create a society, an economy that's centered around it to where if you don't have it, you're going to be left out of the loop. Okay? That's why it says that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark. Meaning, if you don't have that mark, you're not going to be able to buy or sell. Not that he's going to come and hunt your ass down because you don't have it. It's just going to be uh, um, extremely tough for you, man. All right. It doesn't say that if you don't have it, you're gonna be then you're gonna be killed. If you don't have the mark of the beast, you're gonna be killed. No, it says that he's gonna make it that if you don't worship the image of the beast, you're gonna be killed, man. All right. And some of us is gonna, hey, some of us is gonna have to take that manly route of being a martyr, man. Okay. Let's get back here. It says the risk. This will make the refusal of the chick economically disabling. Matching revelations, no buy or sell warning. Social credit and RFID. Current reality in China uses facial recognition, QR codes, and apps to track citizens. RFID integration implants could store a unique citizen ID. Okay, linking to a social credit database. Scanning your hand could instantly grant or deny access to jobs, travel, or loans. Upgrade. Future versions might include real-time tracking if active RFID or GPS is enabled, or I'm sorry, is added. All right. Vaccine passports, digital health IDs plus RFID. It says the CVID precedent. Many countries used QR codes e.g., the EU Green Pass. All right, RFID integration. It says hospitals could embed health records in a chip, allergies, vax status, DNA, so on and so forth. It says airlines, employers, or stores might require a scan to enter, just like Revelation's mark. Okay? Neuralink and brain chips, RFID. Current tech, Neuralink is developing brain computer interfaces, BCIs, for medical use. RFID synergy, a subdermal RFID could act as an external link to a brain chip. All right. This combo could merge financial, digital, and biological control, making refusal impossible. All right. Which refusal is going to be possible. All right. It says government controlled crypto and RFID. Today, most crypto is decentralized, but governments want regulated digital currencies. The RFID link, a chip could store a private key, making it your only access to money. If the state disables your chip, you're locked out of your funds. Okay? This is everything we've been speaking about, man. Why RFID alone isn't the biggest threat, while an RFID implant could serve as the physical mark, the real danger is the system behind it. The global financial, yes, the real danger is the system behind it, man. That's what we read in Revelation the 13th chapter. The beast came and it caused that if you don't worship this image, you're gonna be killed, man. All right, and then the people receive the mark. So the system behind it is definitely the threat over that mark, but the mark itself is a form of pledging your allegiance to that beast. All right, that's ultimately how that worship of that beast is going to come to pass. Is you believe in that's the beast system. You believe in that image so much that you're going to go and implant yourself with a microchip to show that you're going to play ball. Okay. It says while an RFID implant could serve as a physical mark, the real danger is the system behind it, a global financial monopoly, CBDCs, mandatory compliance, social credit, biometric surveillance, facial recognition, plus chips. All right, RFID is just one possible carrier. The true mark of the beast is about who controls the system and whether you're forced to comply. No, the true mark of the beast itself is that RFID microchip. The beast is the system that controls it, okay? The beast is the system that controls it, but the mark of the beast is that RFID microchip, all right? Final answer, yes, but the chip is just a delivery method, okay? So final answer, it answers and says yes, but the chip is just the delivery method. Your chip is your access in. But by desiring that access in so much, you're gonna be going against your own soul by receiving that RFID microchip, man, and pledging your allegiance to that beast system, ultimately to Esau Edom. All right. It says mandatory enforcement, not voluntary. All these systems could use RFID implants, but they don't have to. The real fulfillment of the mark of the beast prophecy depends on mandatory enforcement, not voluntary, which the mandatory enforcement is that the whole system is going to be ran on that. All right. So the voluntary comes that if you want to be a part of the system, if you want to access any of this economical these economical stimulants or these economical benefits, then you're going to have to receive that MOTB. That's ultimately how the mandatory comes in. However, it's going to be voluntary on you because you can deny getting it, just like you can deny eating certain things, man. Just as much as you can deny eating certain things, you can deny going through and receiving that MOTB. All right. Now, is it going to be tough if you don't receive the MOTB? Absolutely, man. But our trust is in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai. Okay, and we don't believe that it's going to be that they got this chip system implemented, and now we got to spend a whole nother 50 years with that chip system implemented. No, the elder apostle Torah said it many times, and we believe this as well. All right, that the Lord is going to move quick once that thing becomes mandatory, and majority of the people get it. Things are going to move extremely fast from that point. All right, to salvation. It says economic exclusion for non-compliance, which that's how the mandatory enforcement and the voluntary enforcement comes in. All right. It says allegiance to a corrupt power, which you going and receiving that is your allegiance to the corrupt power that forced you into where you have to modify yourself to be able to be a part of the system in the first place, man. Okay. So that's pretty much the conversation that I had with this RFID microchip. Now, I might be inspired to ask him more questions in the future, but as for this segment, I'm going to go ahead and close it out. All right. I hope that the message itself was received. I hope that there was edification that came out of this. Feel free to use any of this information. All right. Feel free to use any of this information, man. All right. Anything that you saw within this video, man. Until next time, I'm going to go ahead and say shalom.